Hey guys, and welcome back to Common Courtesy. I'm your host and moderator, Shawn Nikolas, aka Desire Some More, and with me I have my lovely co-host,
Nikki, Prue.
Hey, what's up, girl?
How are you? Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yes, we had a crazy week.
Last week was so brutal.
At work, yes. I wasn't sure if I was gonna come back.
I really wasn't sure if I was going to survive.
Yeah.
Mentally, physically, emotionally. It was a rough one. And it's probably going to be like that now until Christmas time. So
yeah, and the money's good. That's
the money
great.
is good and needed. It just hurts a lot.
Yeah,
sometimes.
and you know what? One of the bars that I go to, the Garage, they are now non-smoking. So I think that's
Oh, they did pass that finally.
Yeah, I think that's really great because, I was telling someone that it allows other people who, who aren't necessarily bothered by people who smoke, but then they wouldn't feel comfortable in a place that...
Well, especially a bar that does karaoke so often. If people were really serious about
Singing,
that. They don't, some people don't want to be around it. And
yeah, I'll be honest, like my throat would get dry, really dry.
Yeah. I mean, as a smoker, I
wouldn't
prefer, I don't mind when bars have smoking areas outside, but if it's outside, inside it just gets to be a little bit too much.
A little crazy. I don't know. And that's coming from two smokers ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like we can say that. We know best.
All right, so let's get into hot topics this week. And boy, is it a doozy, because honestly, now the Democrats are actually going after President Trump. They are moving forward with their impeachment inquiries. Actually, now we're up to impeachment articles. And I just want to fill you in because I have a question to ask, because there's a lot of Republican pushback. So there's two articles of impeachment that they've announced today that they have to vote on soon.
Right.
The first one is abuse of power, which entails they're saying that he abused his power when he withheld funds from Ukraine when he was pressuring President Zelensky to publicly announce that he's investigating Joe Biden and his son and the energy company that he worked for, Burisma. He was withholding almost $4 million of security aid that was already passed in, I think it was February, by the Congress, and they didn't receive the money until September. And if you remember, if you've been following politics, the whistleblower didn't come out, I'm gonna say early September, late August, I wanna say, as I remember.
I think that's around, at least.
Around that,
yeah.
And then it was June, and the call that he had with Zelensky happened in June or July, and that's when the call that he said, oh great, when he was saying, because Zelensky just got elected, and he was talking about the security aid that was supposed to be coming from America, and then that was the phone call that Trump said, I would like for you guys to do us a favor. And also the second article of impeachment is the one that we've all seen played out on television, is the obstruction of Congress. He was using executive privilege, telling multiple White House officials that worked for him in the Trump administration to not answer the subpoenas from the House Judiciary Committee. That's a tough word to say.
I never say that.
So the House Judiciary Committee, they were ignoring the impeachment inquiries. So that's about it. So those are two articles. And the Republicans are saying that they are moving too fast with this impeachment. Now, with all the information that we've had and what we've heard in the news and media, I just want to ask the question, are they right? Are Republicans right? Are we moving too fast with impeachment? Nikki, how do you feel?
I don't think so. When you think back to how long this has really been going on, and then imagine back to where a lot of it started, and if there's things we don't know.
Right.
How long are you supposed to wait when one thing keeps piling on top of another? And as far as moving too fast, the literal definition of impeachment is the action of calling into question the validity of something, the validity or integrity of something. And that's exactly what's been done.
Right,
and I don't
right.
think you can, if you have just cause, I don't think you can ever move too quickly on something like that, especially when it involves the President of the United States.
I agree with you because it seems, because another politician, someone, I think it was Jeffrey Nadler, he's like saying, we're moving too quickly. He's like, well, how long are we supposed to wait? Are we going to wait until he messes this election up, 2020?
That's why, if not now, then when? I would think that time is of the essence at this moment because we have an election coming up and everything needs to be on the table.
Exactly.
Everybody needs to be informed of who they're voting for and the kind of person that would be running office. If he were to win again, if all of this were dropped and it were never investigated.
Right, and also, and it's not, I honestly feel for me, it's not about the president. It's also about the people that he appointed offices, like the head of the head of the Department of Education, when he had Betsy DeVos. And remember she had that 60 Minutes, she had that 60 Minutes interview with, her last name is Stahl, I can't remember her, Leslie Stahl. And they were asking her about the schools in her own state. They were saying, well, some of your public schools are failing. And they asked her, like, well, have you visited these schools that need more help and see what you can do? And she's like, no, I haven't. And the reporter was like, no, Leslie Stahl was like, well, don't you think you should? And she's like, I didn't intentionally not visit them. So, and I was watching this, I remember it was on The View, and they're like, well, what has she been doing this whole time? And it's not only her, there's a lot of people that are in charge of various offices.
I feel like if you don't start with your own state, that should be indicative of future problems.
Yes, but like,
or at least start to prove your points.
My point is like, that's her, that's that person. Then the head of the national security, the Homeland Security, she didn't know, she wasn't sure if, like, if Norway was populated by more white people. Like, she's like, oh, I'm not sure. What are you talking about? Like, this administration has been being read every time they have a press conference, because they don't have an answer for all the crazy bullshit that this administration does. There is no answer, you know what I mean? I feel like there's two Republican parties. Like, there's a conservative Republican Party, and there's a Trump Republican Party, like, I'm not even sure if all of this information that I just read is going to affect them and how they feel.
That's what I mean, and that's why I feel like it's important to start this, to get it out there, because it's probably going to take, if it comes out that all of this, which it's looking like it's all fact, it's all truth, I think there's a lot of people who are going to have a real hard time accepting it and dealing with it in a rational way.
Right, and it's not that bad. It's not a horrible thing, but I think, like, well, impeachment is not good for our country because it makes us look a little, like, weak to other countries. Yeah, disorganized, which honestly, this president is divided. If you haven't, well, yeah, this divisiveness has been here on this country for years, but if we're really honest, it makes other countries, the president's been doing this himself. He's been making us look disorganized his damn self, and he did like over 105 tweets over the weekend, on Sunday, I think. It was just on Sunday.
How does the president have enough time to tweet that much?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of delved into it for the first time and looking what was going on today. And it was like every 15 minutes or something.
Yeah, because he tweeted about, like just today when they released the articles of impeachment, he tweeted, he's like, it's just a witch hunt, and yeah, witch hunt. And he's saying, like, I did nothing wrong. Yes, and I will be clear. President Zelensky said there was no pressure. But I have to think about it this way. If you think about it this way, he's a new president. And, that country has been dealing with a lot of corruption. And that was what his campaign was, on anti-corruption. There was no reason that President Trump had to legally withhold the money. Because that's what they're getting him on, is he illegally withheld it. There's no reason. And I heard that, I read a source that Zelensky was going to announce that they were going to investigate Biden, but he pulled back right before they got that money. So, and I would think that he would not want to do anything to rock the boat, with the relationship. So, I mean, he's not going to say he was pressured, I don't think he's going to say that, but it is clear as day. And even other people in his administration testified to that very fact that was, like, the money was contingent on the investigation of Joe Biden.
And if not, then why was it withheld for so long?
Right.
Without a valid reason.
Right. But you're past that if multiple people who are involved in this are saying this is what was going on. Like, if one person...
What is it going to take?
It's like this. If one person say, like, I don't want to go too extreme, but, like, if one person calls this person a liar, right? That's one person says that you're a liar. But if you have, like, people coming out of the woodwork, 15 people saying that you're a liar, I'm not saying that's as many people that testified in the impeachment inquiry, but if you have 15 people saying that you're a liar, then there's probably some truth in that. And I just don't understand how people can, like, just ignore all of these facts. Like, they're not wasting government money having all these hearings for nothing. I don't know.
That's my point too. Yes, exactly. Why why would that many people? It just...
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, but I feel like we've lost a lot of rationale and logic.
And I feel bad because people are getting tired of hearing about this, but you can't get tired. You have to I think, Nikki, you're right. To our point, we aren't moving too fast with this impeachment. We're going through the proper channels. Because someone said that, there's never been a president that's been impeached in their first term. Well, does that matter?
What does that matter? Because it's never happened. It can't. It
shouldn't have
ever happened.
We've never had a horrible president like this, and that's how I feel.
Right.
But anyways, we just like to say good luck, President Trump. Or sayonara. No, I'm kidding. He's not gonna. Good luck. Good luck. I don't know. We'll see more when this comes out. It's all gonna come out. Oh. And I, for one, can't wait. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next topic. Nikki, you want to bring that up for us? Yeah.
Yes. So, I'm gonna try not to butcher this last name. Alex Bozarjian.
That was really good.
Let's hope so. Alex, I hope I got it right. She was a news reporter that was slapped in the butt by someone who was running by, a runner who just happened to be jogging by. There's a video of it on YouTube. You can kind of very clearly see her just shock on her face. Obviously really, really upsetting, but she did really well. I mean, she didn't stumble or falter. She just got right back to the report. And then later, she tweeted she filed a police report.
Right.
But before they ended up catching him, she did post a tweet. Let me just find it. To the man who smacked my butt on live TV this morning. You violated, objectified, and embarrassed me. No woman should ever have to put up with this at work or anywhere. Do better. So now, I totally support filing a police report, getting this guy, and the tweet itself. I guess I have a slight issue with the wording because I feel like it's victimizing. I feel like the wording should have been, if it were me...
Well, victimizing who?
Well, I feel like she could have made the statement stronger.
Right.
Like, instead of, you violated, objectified, I would have said, in your attempt to violate and objectify me, you made yourself look foolish, and now it's on TV. So, something along those lines. I guess I'm just a little bit more sarcastic. And I respect 100%. I don't have a problem with, I just wish it had been more of like an ass-kicking kind of tweet. Right. Rather than a...
I, on the other hand, I liked her tweet because it was very professional. Because, she is a news reporter,
Agreed.
You know what I mean? But I think, because in your wording, you said your attempt. He already slapped her on her ass, so, it's not an attempt. Because I feel like once you do that, you slap, you touch someone in a very sexual inappropriate way. You've
you did it.
Have
yes.
objectified them.
But I feel like what you're doing when people do that, they're doing it not to be like, oh, maybe she'll call me. They're doing it to objectify. That's their intent, is to make you feel smaller and less powerful. And I would want to fire back with something that says that they didn't reach their goal because they're small and stupid and worthless.
Right. I feel like I disagree because I feel like it's in that moment, because we're not her, I feel like where you're coming from is if that happened to me.
Right.
But if we're being honest, it happened to her. So, I feel like she was, that's how she felt. It wasn't victimized. I don't feel like it was a victimizing statement because she is a victim. You know what I mean? And I feel like I think it was very powerful to say that, yeah, you made me feel like a victim. I hope you feel great about yourself. Do better. And she did file a police report, and they found him.
No, I'm glad that they found him. And again, I don't know. I'm not articulating well, but totally.
Yeah, we totally agree. She should have said something.
It did happen to her. I just wish there had been a little bit more punch behind it.
Right.
But.
And she got the guy banned.
For saying anything at all. For real.
Right.
I mean.
But she got the guy banned from future marathons as well. So
nobody's going to forget. Anybody who knows him now knows that he's a dirtbag.
And he's also bag. I was watching Wendy, and it came out that he's a teenage youth pastor or minister, something like that. And it's kind of crazy, and I don't understand. I don't know. I think that's very objectifying, which kind of
100%.
which is kind of because it kind of segues into this next topic that we found on Dear Abby. You know, I love me some Dear Abby. Like literally, it's very humanizing and like relatable. Because you would think that no one else has the same problems that you do, but if you read some of these letters, yeah, we all have the same things going on. So, anyhow, so like this woman writes in to Dear Abby. It's basically like a toxic masculinity type thing. She writes, Dear Abby, my husband works with a group of men who often become vulgar in their conversations. My husband was raised to have respect and dignity, so he's uncomfortable with it. The men discuss their wives and girlfriends in explicit detail. Some of them have daughters. It is just insane. Would they want someone talking about their daughter that way? My husband tries to ignore it or change the subject, although he gets stressed about it. He can't go to the boss because his boss chimes in. The boss once said, "Oh, it's just men talking." What should he do? Is the wife's question. Which first I want to point out that this is a really rare find that you never hear about men feeling uncomfortable about that locker room talk. You know, because I have to agree. Like a lot of straight guys that I have worked around or do work with, you know, we talk about vulgar things, but at the same token, I have said some vulgar things. Nothing really crazy.
I think you know the line. You know, you can say what in front of and who's going to not take it the wrong way.
Well,
I don't think you would ever be guilty of any kind of vulgar locker room talk.
Right, yeah, because I think the language that she's using, like the word vulgar, they're not talking about, oh, she's got a great ass. You know what I mean? Like,
you can imagine.
That's what I say.
The
Like
kind of crap that they're saying.
Right.
We've all heard it. We've all heard snippets
but
of it anyway.
Before I go, what do you think that, you know, what advice would you give this dude?
Well, I think you made a really good point by saying, like, this is a really good example of, I'm not meaning this in a, it's a good example of how an uncomfortable workplace situation like this might be more difficult for a man to address than a woman. And I say that because men are encouraged and expected to some degree to join in with that kind of talk and to not have a problem with it and to think it's funny and brush it off. And, you know,
and not to show emotions, anything like that.
And God forbid not to say this is making me uncomfortable.
Right.
And that's not to say that every man is like that, but, you know, especially how a workplace can be, there can be a lot of toxic masculinity. It sounds like there's a lot in this particular workplace.
Yeah, in this office.
So I feel for the guy, especially where his immediate boss is in on it, and you don't want, no matter how much you want to stand up, you don't want to be at odds with your boss and all your male coworkers. So that's not an avenue. Going to human resources, he could, but depending on the way this company is run, is he going to get anywhere with that? I mean, I think he definitely should. You shouldn't have to put up with that, whether you're a man, woman, or otherwise. But I can definitely see why it would be more of a mental struggle for him as to what to do, because if a woman's getting harassed, I feel like it's all hands on deck, especially in the workplace. People don't tolerate that anymore because there's so many lawsuits and avenues for lots of further trouble. But as far as it's not fair at all, but I can definitely see why he would be more nervous about it than not, because then it's what? Is he going to be known as the no fun guy? I'm sure he has all these things going through his mind, and it sucks, and it's not fair because it creates this stigma that men should have to put up with things that women shouldn't. And not that they should, but it's almost like the door isn't quite as open for men to address these problems as it is for women in the workplace.
That was really good.
What? You know, it just came to me. I was like, it just makes sense. Every once in a while,
you have like, no, that was really good. I mean, because as I struggle to think what I would say to this guy, everything that you said is true. Like, I'm a guy myself, and, you know, growing up in, like, locker rooms, you know, you would hear how the guys would talk, you know, and, yeah, I'm never not the one to get involved, you know, and then I was gay. But I'm not, like, the one, I'm, like, I would say
and
things
then I was
like,
gay, so.
like, okay, if I was, like, around my other gay coworkers, we get into, like, talking about sex and things like that, but, like, never
but like I said,
explicit stories.
You have, like, a back and forth. You're not just like, hey,
like, yeah,
new guy.
Like, if this is an explicit story, I would tell my close friend, like, privately.
Exactly.
But I've never really heard myself in the midst of people. Like, other thing, I'm like, oh, he's got a nice ass, or, like, look at that. You know, like who doesn't? Like, you know, I'm not catcalling or anything like that. I'm trying to defend myself. But for me personally, I've never like engaged in anything like that. But I think he should. Yeah, I think he should go to human resources as well. But also be prepared to like work in a different department of that office or work at a different office, because that type of unnecessary pressure, because people are really stupid. You know what I mean? Like, not stupid, but
they are
small-minded.
Very, and
it's a better way to say that. Small-minded.
Yes,
because
I like
they can't. Like, it's not that they're wrong or whatever, or not like that. Because in their mind,
they just can't think past a certain mental
right.
block.
In their mind, they're probably not doing. They don't think they're doing anything wrong. Like, they're not seeing the Me Too movement or anything like that. You know, or because they're not. He's not saying that they're assaulting people. They're just talking about their actual lives, whatever. Right. People in their life. But I think you should really get prepared to work somewhere else, because it sucks, but that's the society that we live in, you know, because there's strength in numbers. Who's to say that if you go even though if he comes for anonymously, I don't know if I can't talk, anonymously, even if he comes anonymously, they're going to know who said it. You know?
That's what I mean. It's always going to come back. So, I mean, really just be prepared for backlash, or just speak up and say, I don't want to hear it. You can talk about it, but just don't involve me. And
don't involve me.
And the other men in the office should be adults enough to agree to that. But,
that.
You know, again,
we don't even know.
People are small-minded.
I like I said, like, hey, say something, but I would just work somewhere else and be prepared for that, because it's not. Some people you can't change, especially if your boss is getting in on it. Because before you go to human resources, talk to your boss. But if he's there, it's like Donald Trump. Like, could you imagine, like, Donald Trump? Like, what about? I can imagine, because remember he got caught on was it Total Access, like Hollywood tape? Yeah, when he was saying like with Billy Bush, when he said grab him by the pussy.
Oh, God.
And like Billy Bush didn't say anything when he said that. I'd have been like, that's crazy. But Donald Trump was
what?
Yeah, he didn't say anything to like defend like what he just said. And Billy Bush, I mean, Donald Trump had a lot of money in NBC at that moment. You know, I don't know. Hey, this talks about it goes further than just this office, because a lot of men in power. Just last week we were talking about Simon Cowell, who has since lawyered up. We did promise you an update. He lawyered up as they're investigating the whole thing about Gabrielle Union. So there is some truth in that. There's some. You know what? Gabrielle Union's the new whistleblower. I think whistleblower is a new thing. And then, okay, so I think that's everything we have today, right?
I think we covered it all.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, just for now, because...
Well, until next time.
Yeah, every week there's like the news cycle is just...
I feel like it's going to just keep
on going.
Snowball's getting bigger.
I really can't wait to, like, you know, see what happens with Trump and him getting impeached and the process. I really want to see what people are going to say, because I said to you earlier, I do not like the Republican politicians who know better. Some of them are lawyers, some of them are congressional professors that study the Constitution. Excuse me, that's what I meant. Constitutional professors, and they can't even say that, you know, what he did is wrong. Bribing a foreign power in order to
I feel like we're going to find out a lot more stuff over the next few weeks.
There's always more.
Unraveling, and I'm excited to find out.
All right, so that's all we have for you guys today. Thanks for watching. Again, I'm your host and moderator, Shawn Nikolas, a.k.a. Desire Some More. With me, I have my lovely co-host, Miss
Nikki Prue.
And we will be back next week. And what would you like to say again, Nikki?
Try to always have a little bit of common courtesy.
See you later. Bye.